There's a lot of them.
Whoa.
There's a lot of them, but he was going to do better every day. He was pissed.
See, now I got it. It's 6 o'clock. It is Wednesday night. It's Real Unfiltered Talk. I'm James Bryan, along with two-time world champion. The sound is awful. I'll work on it, guys. Give me a second here. Two-time world champion, Bassmasters Classic champion, FLW world champion, and fisherman extraordinaire, Mr. Dion Hibden. Good evening, Dion. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
Well, your sound is great. Mine sucks. It's all right. It's a
Isn't
good.
that the way it's supposed
His
to be?
is more important.
It's been a good week.
It has been.
What'd you do?
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't done a whole lot this week. Not a whole lot. Been making some baits. Just kind of getting ready for the Warrior William deal.
That's coming up this weekend. That's
Yeah.
right. We'll talk about that too. I threw in a surprise on you. I brought in a guest tonight that nobody knows about, never will. But I'd like to
And
welcome.
We'll forget tomorrow.
I'd like to welcome my good buddy Kevin Owen. Kevin Owen, welcome to the show.
How you guys doing?
We're good. So what I normally do at the show is I give a little background about your extensive professional career. Found no record of you.
that
earning
wouldn't
any
take
money.
very long, would it?
Did not. Pretty good angler though.
So,
Kevin's the good lord. I'm gonna throw this microphone in the trash. I think it's starting to really suck. Kevin has the distinguished honor of on Saturday at the Big Bass Bash cashed a check in every period on Saturday. Not bad.
it was a good day, a lot better than Sunday, because I did the opposite on Sunday. But
Well, we're going to get there because this show is going to be about transitioning and making the change, and that's where Dion's going to step in, and we'll get into that. But
he can show me my errors.
yep,
and
a little
everything.
bit of background.
Yeah,
Kevin,
maybe.
Yep, Kevin has fished
Okay.
this lake for about 65, 70 years.
Not quite that long, but
Well, since you're 5, right?
okay.
How many years you got? You 70 yet?
No,
You getting close?
no.
See, you're older than both of us. Though.
I'm not on Medicare yet. Let's
Okay.
put it that way.
What we got? Is it still? Let's turn this. Yeah, guys. I just want to make sure you all could see. That's all good. I just want to make sure that nobody could see anything. So, but we're getting there now. We'll get that screen off. There we go. See, that's why the tech guys are on.
Got our
on the
tech
line
crew
going.
working.
Yeah, now we got it. So now we can start. Now you can see Kevin. You can see Dion. You can see me. You heard us talking. You told me to turn the music down. I turned the music down. You didn't tell me to take the slideshow off. I'm gonna have to train you, Ron. You have to do a little bit better job here. So
Get what you pay for.
anyway, Kevin's been
That's
fishing
right.
this lake for a long, long time. He's a very well established angler. He's won some money. Done all right. He's a good table rock angler. Very well rounded with the jig.
Mhm. My favorite.
Yeah, I know. I know that. But it's kind of a sarcastic butthole, which is why I like him because we're a lot alike. And Dion will agree.
I agree with that.
Yep, you don't like
100%.
Don't
Yes.
like either one of us.
Which
Sometimes,
part
that's
do you
okay.
agree with? That he's a sarcastic butthole?
Well, I agree.
Yep,
Yeah.
Kevin
Let's
was
go
a
with
former,
that.
Kevin's a former drug dealer, which makes it handy too. So yeah, he dealt drugs.
Yeah.
He's reformed now and retired, so he doesn't do that anymore.
Sold it to someone else.
I didn't know you could sell a drug dealer.
I did.
Let me rephrase. Kevin was a pharmacist. How's that? Did you watch The Hangover?
Yes.
They're like, no, he's a dentist. That's what it is. He's not a
He was a
doctor.
dentist.
He's a dentist. Yeah, he's not a doctor. He's a pharmacist.
Yeah.
But I was always told that a pharmacist, their job was to make sure the doctors didn't kill you because they prescribe everything. It was your job to make sure that they didn't do it wrong.
That's
Right or wrong?
Well, yeah, that's mostly right, but that's how we claim importance. you
Gotcha.
know, so.
And now you're a big time pilot.
I don't
A lot
know
of
about
people
big
around.
time, but yeah,
So
that's how I make my.
But before we get
living
into the
now.
whole fishing thing, you got to share with people. You've been flying down and assessing hurricane damage because you fly bridge crews
I
and
did.
workers to.
We were in Western Tennessee, North Carolina border last week, looking at railroad bridges.
How bad was it compared to what you see on the news?
Complete bridges gone. Moving pilings 8 or 10 feet downriver. Those big concrete things that hold the bridge. The water just moved them, and saw semi trucks in the middle of the river. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's real bad. No
Is-
water for our whole county. Their
Nice.
whole water system was taken out. And,
Is your buddy Peter T in good hands?
Yeah,
Is he
he's
out of
doing
the
all
way?
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
is he
he
out,
did-
out
he's
clear the
inland,
path?
isn't he?
Yeah, he lives in Jacksonville, so
So-
Okay.
so
yeah.
he's fine.
Gotcha.
That's good.
I had heard the story, and I don't know if you ever heard the
Until
story,
today, I guess.
but now it's coming
Today-
forward.
today
He'll
they're
just get rain.
Yeah, today they're kind of getting beat up, but
Have you guys, either one of you, heard, and maybe Dion would know this, that when they have these hurricane weather, do saltwater fish go into brackish water? Like I'm hearing stories like they're going like up the Tennessee River. That you can find saltwater fish in Tennessee River because the water pushed way back up in there.
I've
You ever
never
anything like
heard
that?
that.
I
really.
don't know.
You ever caught a saltwater fish in fresh water?
I've caught them where you can catch them.
I can't pronounce it. The
You've
actual
caught 'em
Lysa
in
Basin.
brackish.
I've caught them out of brackish water, yeah,
Yeah.
a lot. I mean, and I've caught them. I've caught them out of the Potomac and seen full blown saltwater fish and stuff like that. But that's brackish water,
Right.
So, but I don't know that it pushes them further up. I don't know. Mother Nature knows. She knows what to do.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know if they get out there and get deeper or I'm not sure what they do really.
I was out. I didn't get to fish it, but I was out on the Delta in California back a few years back, and there was sea lions, and I think there was manatees. Is there manatees in California?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Just Florida.
Just sea lions. Yeah, there were sea lions everywhere,
Yeah.
but they were talking about how they had to navigate around those guys in the canals and stuff. But you ever fish the Delta?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you like it?
It's different.
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Flipping toolies and stuff like that. I mean, I like flipping, and it was
Was it sight fishing it when you were there?
No,
Okay.
no, I was not that fortunate.
Tulies are pretty thick, though. You can't really.
Oh, they're just reeds. They're just reeds of all kinds. I mean, and I spent about 15 years, guiding in Florida, out on Lake Okeechobee. So it was kind of cool to go someplace where you actually got to fish a lot of reeds and stuff like that.
Now, in
So-
the Midwest, I mean, so everyone understands that's basically cattails, right?
Cattails, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so we all are on the same page. They're not the same, but they're the same.
No.
Just no.
They're
Similar structure.
they're
no hot
cattails.
dogs on a stick.
Yeah, cattails with no top.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I call them hot dog on a stick, and
Yeah.
if you blow them up, they turn into like cotton.
Yeah.
So, you ever try to eat one as a
No.
kid?
No.
The roots? Is that what they're called? No, but I'm talking about the actual cattail part. Get a mouthful of cotton. So yeah. So Saturday we had the Big Bass Bash. I think they set another record number of anglers, like 4,000 some anglers. Ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, and the idiots, the powers that be, decided to have a power poker race in the middle of it all. So that was
Yep.
cool. Yeah, it was nuts out there. I fished Saturday, Dion. I went out there a little bit.
You did?
And, I did.
How'd you do?
I had never boated a keeper. And
Really?
Yeah, it goes back to that story. You never try to emulate what somebody else does,
Okay.
even though you think it's going to work. And even though he said, and I'm not mentioning any names, he's drinking in a black tumbler right now.
And he has
Go try that. It's the
and he has
same
a
thing
white
on the
beard?
other end of the lake. Yeah,
yeah.
didn't work so well. So, but I have some things that we're going to talk about.
Or did it? I guess we should ask Kevin if it worked on the upper end.
Well, we'll get there.
Well,
okay.
what,
We'll
you
get
need
there.
to tell me what you told him.
Because I know. Well, so on
I just told him to fish
last
dirt
week's show,
shallow.
Yep, last
Around
week's
boat
show
dock.
we
Sounds familiar.
last week's show we talked we went out and fished a tournament. We talked about it. We fished less than 5 foot of water, and as Dion always says in every show, you got to find the darkest spot furthest back in the dock where that bass likes to live.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I did. I went and looked at that kind of stuff. And I caught a lot of fish. Dad caught a lot of fish. It was all right. Just not quite there. But I did see something I want to talk about later. Because we're going to talk about how this lake and any lake, a big body water lake, when the water's unusually warm, when fish start doing different things that you learn, how's that adjustment? Because for you went upriver, Kevin.
I did.
And, oh, wait, you didn't do so well, Dion, because I can't remember. Oh, yeah. You were not eligible to fish.
I cannot fish. That's right.
Yeah, that's
you know
right.
what?
That's
I wish
right.
I had his problem on that.
Yeah, I know. And it was so funny because I don't know if we talked about it last week or not,
We
but I'm
did.
going to remind everybody again because it's really funny.
I don't know if it was on the show, but we talked.
Yeah, but
about
it's still really funny.
Yeah.
He doesn't think it's funny, do you?
I
But I think it's funny.
can't believe it actually written up that
Yeah.
way.
So in the rules of the Big Bass Bash, and I don't know if Sealy's down in Texas this way or not, but if you've been an elite angler for 3 years, you're not
3
eligible
years
for
or
the
the
past
last
3 years.
3
An
years?
open
Last
elite
3
or
years.
any of those
Mhm.
what's it called, the POA, FFA, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
PAFA,
NLFPA.
yeah. What is it? Pro Anglers PO
Net NFLPA.
NFLPA. Sorry,
Yeah.
and I'm not being mean. I'm sorry. It's a good organization.
It's just a
can't remember
long
the acronym. Yeah. The National Professional Bass Fishing League, the PFL.
Right.
SPA, CAT, BSS.
Anyway, I really have no idea what you're talking
got off
about
track
even
here.
right this minute.
Anyway, if you've fished in these organizations for the last 3 years, you're not
he's
eligible.
getting to the Dion rule.
But then,
I'm thinking we're talking about transgender and
no,
stuff like that.
I didn't say
mean,
Q's or exclamation marks or anything like that,
Oh,
so we're all
okay.
good. But in the next sentence, and Dad was reading it, and Dion was in Canada. We were all just sitting there bull crapping around. He's like, and if you're a Bass Masters Classic champion or FLW champion, you're also ineligible. And he's like, that's not in there.
For life.
And I thought,
not for 3
and
years.
I thought Dad was kidding too.
but
So
for
I pulled
life.
it out and looked at it. Sure enough, there's that sentence in there.
Yeah.
So he's like, ain't that a bitch?
Now you guys have to understand why I questioned that. Is because it's in a tackle store, and everybody lies in here at some point in time. I mean, and I've been a part of this little group for a long, long time, and it's not the first time that's happened. So,
did you verify it yourself?
Oh yeah, they made me look at it.
He highlighted it.
He highlighted it in yellow and
I
showed
know.
me.
I was there. I was just wanting
I
you
couldn't
to
believe
admit
it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That's very, very specific.
So, and there's no time limit on it. It's just
no.
You're done.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. He
So-
caught me off guard.
Yeah, so he could.
He
so
lets
he
you
could
fish his other tournaments, though.
Yeah, that's right. He does.
So
there you
anyway,
go.
yeah,
I believe you won one last year, didn't
Yes,
you?
I did last
you go.
spring. Yeah.
BFL or the Toyota
Anglers in action.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Him and
Me and Danny Bowman.
Danny Bowman. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
The weekend that the BASS left, when John Cox won, I watched what he did on the internet, sitting right here in the show. I watched the live internet show, and I told my son, I said, well, I'm catching 18 pounds tomorrow. And he says, oh, yeah, how you going to do that? I said, I'm going to go do what John Cox did. I said, he caught 18 every day. I said, hell, I think I can too.
Didn't you beat 2 of your sons?
I beat Lawson by 4 ounces.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah, it was just enough.
W's a W, right?
Yeah, that's right. I count them all.
I thought Payton was in that one too, but I wasn't sure. I can't remember.
No, Peyton wasn't in that one.
Okay.
But yeah, me and Danny.
So you kind of whooped Lawson on a couple of them.
Well, that's kind of what I'm supposed to do. You know,
right.
I taught him a lot.
That's why it doesn't.
I didn't teach him everything.
They got to cut in real quick because I normally don't call out everybody. But Mark Dunbar said, "What's up, fellas?" And, hey, Mark, I'm glad you're alive.
Hey,
that's
so
right.
Good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you're watching right now.
Hope you're running around soon.
Yeah,
So.
get back on your feet, dude.
Yeah.
At least don't go driving for a while. So
Yeah.
if you need a ride to the show, give us a holler. But we really don't want you here. So but I just thought it'd be nice at least on that part. So good to see you online, buddy. So if those don't know, Mark's good fisherman, travels a lot of shows, or does a lot of tournaments, and he was sitting at an accident and got rear-ended while he was waiting, and broke. I mean, I don't even know, but damn near every bone in his back. So so
multiple vertebrae.
He's
He
gonna
has
be
like
laid up for a while. So
screws in his back.
we're
or
hanging in there,
something.
buddy. So glad it was you, not us. So, but I know you can take it. So we'll see you in a little bit. It's all good. So, Kevin, and if anybody's never fished the Bash and they're watching from some other country and don't know what we're talking about, it's a big fish tournament where we can weigh one fish every 2 hours, and they pay $100,000 for the biggest fish. Which, by the way, the biggest fish was 705 this year, and Dion said it was going to be about 7 1/4. So it was 7. It was
Pretty
right
close.
On. Yeah, it was right on. It's cool.
Yeah.
And the big fish came way up the river. Guy was fishing. funny.
We got someone here,
Our
don't we?
good friend Lloyd Morgan, who sponsors the show at Hiawatha Beach, chose to go to the Gravois, and they caught one out of his backyard. So
I
good job,
heard he
Lloyd.
caught it right by his gas stop.
it wasn't, but
I'm kidding.
yep. Lloyd said he was in the very back of the
We don't
cove,
have to
and-
tell him everything.
Was he down there by
He was up
Crabtree's?
river. So
Oh, okay. I know which one it was. Yeah, there's a lot of big.
You guys-
they're talking about fishing spots.
You guys,
now, so
you
here
guys
we go.
can quit talking about it.
Yep.
You know?
So anyway,
These people don't
yeah.
need to know all
they don't.
that.
Yeah, they don't need
That's
no
true.
details.
We
Just
don't
somewhere
need
around
to-
there.
We told
Give
them
them
what
a
end of the
map.
lake they were on.
Yeah.
That's
So
all they
anyway,
need.
big fish came out of there, and then Dad and I fished about
I know how to get in.
10 miles downstream, and Kevin fished in between, and Kevin had a pretty good day. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have, it's kind of like catching 6 pound back to back. It's a special time, but not everybody, and maybe they have. Maybe there's guys out there that catches a fish in every session, but I think it's rare. I think it's a pretty good accomplishment. So
Yeah, I don't know. I know after I had my third one, I really wanted to get the fourth one,
Right.
just to do that. But I put in at Mid Lake. We fish a lot of Mid Lake, and so I put in at the 53-mile marker. You guys can figure out where that is.
it's probably around Proctor Cove, something that area.
Probably since I got a boat ramp there, I can use.
That's right. So I'm not calling, since he was calling out where the big fish came up. So you were around the Proctor area. So
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, and I fished in that general area, and first 30 minutes had 2 money fish fishing behind people. So, but it was kind of like what Dion was talking about.
Conditions change. Let's just spill
They
it out.
did.
I mean, we're 2 weeks before we fish again. So how'd
Sure.
you catch a fish?
I fished them just like Dion said, shallow and dark.
What kind of bait were you throwing?
I was throwing a creature bait.
Okay, little creature bait. That's
And
cool.
here's what happened. Just how things work out sometimes. You know me, I'm a jig guy. I
Mhm.
love skipping and throwing my jig. At the fourth cast, I hung it up underneath something. Who knows what was under there? Cut it off, and I had a creature bait tied on my other rod. So I just started fishing. 3 casts later, I get a money fish.
How
6
big?
That was 4.5.
4.5 pounder. Nice fish.
Yeah, nice start.
Yeah.
There was someone 20 feet from me watching me, so that was fun. Next dock, catch another money fish. I said, okay. So guess what I didn't put down the rest of the day?
Yeah, the
The
creature
creature
bait.
bait.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But they were all shallow. They were all next to heavy cover. And they were hard to get to. When you're fishing by yourself, you can really push the boat around because I'm not as good a caster as
Well,
someone next to me.
You know why it's hard to fish by yourself? Because nobody wants to fish with you because you're a turd. That's
Well, yeah, probably because I thought Glenn Mann was
can't
going
even
to
you
fish
can't even
with
get
me.
you a
and he
net
didn't.
guy.
Well, I don't really want a net guy
Just
in the
kidding. Yeah.
big bass bash.
You gotta share it that way, don't you?
Yeah,
Oh mercy. So 4.5 pounders, all shallow, all good.
yeah.
Cashed out 4 checks. Probably
Mhm.
earned you a cool grand. roughly.
14, 15.
1,500,
something.
not bad.
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
that's a good day's
Yeah.
work.
Had a 490 thrown in there later in the day,
That's all right.
and
So, like we've talked about for weeks, it's not rocket science.
no,
Those fish live shallow, they live deep, but you figure out where that dark spot is, where the resident bass live, you catch a few, right, D?
Right.
But something happened on Sunday. Those
Yes.
fish disappeared for everyone.
well, and I hit all my best spots Saturday. I mean, so
Right.
everything I went back and retread a few of my spots I fished Saturday, and they were so bruised. I mean, there was still froth on the water,
Gotcha.
and so I started looking for obscure places, and it just didn't happen. Caught a few keepers, but nothing to weigh in. And
Now, going downstream 5 miles, my dad was out fishing. He was catching 2.5, 3 pound fish pretty regular,
right,
but nothing to get him away. Good tournament fish. Our 12-pound
Yeah.
strings, Dion. He's right on track. He's doing
Yep.
good.
and
But they
and
weren't
I
there.
went downriver, and that's what I did when I went
Catching
down.
those
some.
kind of fish.
Yeah,
But
2 and
here's
3/4.
here's what I saw on Saturday. I'm going to pick your brain, Dion. I like throwing spinner baits, chatter baits, square bills. I like those corners of the docks. You even know that. You've seen it.
Yeah,
I lost a
I
couple
do it
$100 gambling
sometimes.
with you on that one. But yeah,
yeah, that was fun too.
that's a whole other story in itself. But I could see, Dion, and I'm asking you for your expertise here. You could see bigger fish, 3-4 pound fish, and you can see their noses sticking off the corner of a dock, looking, and sometimes it'd be 2 or 3 of them. And you could swim a jig by it, you could throw a spinner bait, chatter bait. Those fish were not reacting. So what happened on Sunday versus Saturday they were eating? And what does a person do to try to motivate those fish to bite?
Oh, it could be a number of things. The main thing is 4,000 people. Kevin hit right on it when he said, there's still froth on the water. Big fish they're like, I hunt a lot, and a big buck deer is the same way. He's only going to give you one opportunity, and a lot of those big ones get throwed at, and when I say throwed at, I don't mean caught. They can actually just get throwed at, and it'll set them off, and they'll bundle up and get up under a dock and just sit there,
So you think that's more just those fish are coming
it
from
always
pressure?
happens that way every year in the bash. It's never better the second day. It's always worse, and it's because they get looked at. The fish get looked at,
especially in the fall.
Yeah, and
which I think is two different animals.
Yeah, 99% of the fish want to be shallow in the fall. Well, those are easily screwed up. They get messed up. People get to get on top of them, and one of the best things you can think about is your boat positioning and not flushing out a spot, with your trolling motor. And I use power poles all the time.
That's true.
And
that.
It's just one of those deals that I don't want to spook that bass. And we caught some big ones the week before.
Or you did?
No, you did.
But
team.
The team.
Oh,
yeah,
you
the
netted
team,
them. You
yeah.
netted them. Okay.
Yeah.
But like Jamie said, like Jamie was gonna say there, I use my poles a lot. I don't just go into a dock when I get hung up. I get myself headed to it, and I reach out and I get my bait loose, but I never touch the trolling motor. I push myself away from it with my hand.
Right.
That way I don't backwash under that dock.
Wear a guy out,
Well, you got to do it right.
That's
You got to do it right, or you're going to screw up the whole dock. And I could have very easily on the one dock, for instance, that we caught 2 6s underneath. The average Joe probably would not have caught the second one because we got hung up multiple times before we got around to the other one. Well, every time I did not use the trolling motor to push myself away from the dock. I would always go in, we'd poke it loose, and then I would push away with my hand. Right. And that never gets any of that water tumbling underneath that dock,
Or the silt coming out.
Or if you're in dirt shallow water like what you were catching your fish out of, you're never stirring up the mud.
Right.
And that makes a huge difference. Boat positioning and boat presence means as much in shallow water as making the right pitch a lot of times.
And that's what you said, the right pitch. But I've been lucky today. We had a lot of people that came in this week who have been faithful watchers of the show. And they come in person and kind of want to see our killer studio here, which they go, oh, hell, this is what it is? Yeah, this is it. This is the clubhouse.
Yeah.
But 2 of the guys I talked to today, one of them fished, I think both of them fished behind Lawson in pro tournaments. So either a BFL or a Toyota or one of those. Fish
co-angler?
As a co-angler,
okay.
Yes, as a link.
Okay.
And one of the things that they talked about was, you get so excited to go fishing with a Hibden. It's just it's the coolest thing they ever see. And they want to get this very wealth of knowledge, and they will learn something. And they go, you know what? You don't learn anything other than the fact that these guys can skip better than anybody else in the country. They get back and deeper into docks that they just can't
They're
do.
more efficient.
And I
is
said,
a good way to put it.
And what they don't understand is that you guys have 70 plus years of experience on the lake. You know where to go. You know where those fish live. But getting the perfect cast is another one. And the same thing over and over again. It's like, there's the experts really know how to get a jig deep into a dock, and the normal angler, including myself, just can't get that deep. I can't get that deep, and I think a lot of times too, anglers don't want to even try because they don't want to lose their bait, they don't want to get hung up, and it's like, man, we try to emulate everything that the Hibbons do, but we can't do it because we're not good enough. and they admit it.
That's part of it. That's part of it, but also no one, we break stuff down around boat docks a lot faster than most, and when I say that, that's what we do. That's what, from August through November, we dominate things here, and it's because fish relate to docks a lot, and they relate to docks in different manners, but more than anything, it's the right kind of banks. We do focus on docks. It's something that we throw around. It's something we fish around, but it's got to do with more with where the shad are at on any given day. That means a ton on Lake of the Ozarks. and we pay attention.
And right now, there's no shortage of shad.
But
Yeah, but
a
there's
couple of weeks ago there was.
But there's no
in
shortage
certain
of
areas.
little shad.
Yeah.
And I hate them. I mean, those little ones do nothing but screw you up. You know, you can.
But why?
Well,
because
they
there's too
just
many of them and fish are foundered, or
them big bass don't eat them as much as what everybody thinks. They do eat them if they're around them, but they don't hunt them.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not something that they just go after day after day. They want them ones that are about 6 inches long.
right?
The gizzard shad is the ones that are very, very important to your fishing area. You know, if you catch a number of big bass doing anything, big gizzard shad are present somewhere there.
Right.
You may not see them, you know, because they're not big on being right on the surface. Gizzards want to run in the rocks. They want to be around those rocks and stuff. And so you just gotta know what kind of where they migrate and what time of the year they do it, and that all means a lot.
And it's funny you said that too, because Saturday evening, the day one leader of the Big Bass Bash, who ultimately won, came in the store, and you visited with him for a little bit too, didn't you?
Yep.
No, I didn't.
No, you were.
I
missed
did.
him.
Yeah, you missed him, but he was.
Yeah.
Dion talked to him. I visited for a little bit, but he didn't even mix words. He told me exactly where exactly what he was throwing, exactly where he threw.
He
his
was
tooth
too
bait.
he was too excited to lie.
Yeah, and
He had just caught it.
And you
Can't
remember what he
blame
said?
him.
No.
Remember what he said? He said he pitched in and he was pitching around these big giant shad.
Yeah.
He said they were all cruising around these big ass shad. And I'm like, okay. I mean, everything you're saying is exactly what he did. Was he smart or was he lucky? We don't know. You know?
Well,
Well,
both. He knew to pitch in there.
You know, Kenyon Hill was a buddy of mine from Oklahoma, and I helped him in the bash, and he got to telling me that the first day he never really got around them that great. He did catch one money fish, caught a 5 something, but he never really caught a bunch of bass. The second day of the tournament, he got into one area and caught like 20 keepers.
Wow.
And ended up catching one right
Money
at 5
fish.
pounder, another money fish.
Yeah.
And
He fished the lower end, didn't he?
he fished the lower end, where you and I fished,
Gotcha.
on the lower end, and he knew for a fact that it was just because he finally got around those big shad.
Right.
You know, and he apparently he said apparently I hadn't been around them until that day, but that day they were biting and they were eating, and on the hardest day of that tournament, he whacked them, and he whacked them because he got around a place nobody else had been fishing, and it had those big gizzards in there up on the bank, and just a slight breeze blowing towards the bank where he caught them, and it made all the difference in the world on the fish biting.
And there was a guy that came in yesterday in the shop, and he weighed a money fish, but he told me something that was kind of interesting. I haven't heard out here, and I'm sure you've seen it. I haven't. He said he was fishing the lower end of the lake, and he was struggling shallow, so he went out deep, and there was a dock sitting over about 30 feet of water, and it was on this nice, chunky main lake point. He said he picked up a glide bait, just a white glide bait, about a 6-incher, and he threw it down the side of the dock. And he said as he was walking it out, he said he saw what he called, and I quote, a wolf pack of bass that came out. And I have never seen that on this lake. He said we're talking like a 3, a 4, 5, and then there was a big one. And he said they all came out. He said, and the smallest one, of course, destroyed my bait. Yeah. And he said, and the rest of them chased him for a minute. And he said, then they took off. He said, I could never give him a bite again. Have you seen that on the lower end like that?
2 times of the year.
Yeah.
Pre-spawn and this time.
And fall.
I've never. Have you ever seen that?
Pre-spawn and
I don't
right
think
now.
I've ever seen it.
Never seen that.
I've seen individual fish come out.
You know when a guy's telling the truth, because he was still sick.
Yeah.
Because he's like, they were just there and then they were just gone, and he said they never came back.
When they first move up to the big rocky places, lots of times if you watch, you'll see 4 or 5 at a time in the same little group,
right,
cruising down the bank.
So it gets to the next thing I want to ask Dion about here real quick. I'm gonna give you some time to talk. I promise, Kevin. Just so you don't right now, because we got out of you what we needed. So
okay.
You're just now eye candy
go
for
ahead.
the viewers.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I know exactly where that guy found that wolfpack fish because I made him show me the map. Because I thought, just in case.
And you think he told you the truth?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Again, when people are so excited, they don't lie. You know, and I find that fascinating with most anglers, especially when they win.
Yeah.
You know, because they go, dude, They have to tell somebody.
He didn't win though.
They might hold them in for a couple of days, but then finally they tell their buddy over a beer, on the backyard, like, man, I got to tell you something. And then they done screwed up. Because once they tell it to everybody. So.
Right.
But I know the conditions we are under is not new. It's October the 9th. I think it's 9th. October the 9th. We should be seeing 65-degree water, in my opinion. And we're still 78. And I know this has happened before. I just don't remember it ever happening like this. We are still in that summery surface water temperature. And we've got this ridiculous 47-degree nights and then 85-degree days. That's got to affect how those fish are acting right now, doesn't it?
Sure, a little bit. But I'll go back to during the spawn and stuff like that also. And this is not during the spawn, but it's also the same things happening, okay? Fish go by time of the year on a lot of things. Length of sunlight, and sunlight means a ton to a bass. And I don't think it means, they want to spawn this time of the year. But I think the sunlight and the hours of the day make those shad migrate. They start migrating into those creeks and stuff like that. According to, they know it's October. I'm sure they don't have calendars, but they know how short the days are shortening up. So they need to start making their move no matter what the water temperature is. To me, it has all the same thing happens in October every year to a certain extent. Water temperature just means there's a few stragglers. There's still some deeper ones that are thinking, oh, well, it's still just late summertime patterns here right now. And it would probably really blow you away if all the people in the bash were honest how many fish did come out deeper.
Right.
I bet you there was a lot more of them did. The ones that we noticed are the ones that we talked to, the guys who won and stuff like that. Sure. And those fish are right where they should be. This happens every year, the same thing. And they're there because of it's the right time of the year for them to be there. And like I say, the shad are getting in there. You see a lot of gizzards right now. You're starting to see them, and as soon as you start seeing them,
they're in the backs and mid creek.
And anytime the wind blows good, if you get in there close to them rocks, you'll see them big ones cruising around in there. When that takes place, them bass are going to not be far behind. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is. The fish also do a false spawn in the fall.
I was going to ask.
I've seen it a million times.
I was going to ask you if you were a believer of the academic spawn.
Do they actually spawn or do anything? No, but they go through the motions. Yeah. When the moon gets full and water temperature gets down there, this time of the year, they're gonna pull in there, and you can pull in and see a little white spot there and have a little old fish standing on it, and there'll normally be a female somewhere around. Are they actually doing it? No, probably not. They probably only do it once a year this far north. Right. But I know they go through the motions. I've seen them. I've caught them. You'll go through a time frame just like in the spring where you pitch your jig out there next to a tree, and he'll peck it and you'll miss him. You'll pitch in there again, he'll peck it again and you'll miss him. And you pitch it in there again and you stand there and hold on to it after he bites it, and you might catch it. You might hook him. But they do the same thing. They bite the same way. They get weird and fickle. Sometimes you got to go to a little shaky head or something smaller to get them to bite. And that's that's the season. They're changing. They're making their moves. But like I said, I bet you a bunch of them still caught them out deeper last weekend.
Do you think that there's going to be a resurgence of the tube?
Oh, I don't know. That fella was throwing a tube. He threw it in front of a fish that probably would have eaten anything that landed in front of it.
Yep.
Simple
as
that.
Reaction.
It was a reaction.
But see, when Kevin wasn't looking, I went to his boat, the Big Bass Bash, and he was out front. I took a peek, and he was throwing something that was close to a tube.
I was.
And I'm thinking,
I was throwing a solid.
It makes me want to go to that
tube.
tub I just hauled in the back. That's got 5,000 of those tubes we've been trying to sell for like 5 years. Nobody will buy, and dig out a bag.
A tube's always a good bait for up shallow, as far as I'm concerned.
Let me interject.
But we don't use it anymore.
No, nobody does.
One of the
Far away.
reasons I think the tube or what I was throwing worked so well, I could throw it deeper into the docks.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna roll you into the bus. I know what you were throwing, and
Yeah.
we're gonna save it because you got tournaments still to fish.
Right.
But you were throwing a tube that was like a solid body style tube.
Right.
It was different, but still a solid body bait. You can get back and skip it back a little bit further.
But I could skip it better than my jig. Even.
Right. Totally. I totally get that.
We catch a lot of fish on creature baits.
Yeah.
I mean, we really do. It's not just totally a jig for us. We catch a lot of fish on creature baits of all different makes and manners. You know, and we designed that one for Bojangles, that little bit smaller profile, strictly for
log hog.
Yeah, but it's got a long enough body. You can put a big hook in it, you know, to where you can actually flip it on big line and stuff like that.
You
but
skip that also?
Sure.
Okay.
But you know, you also got to understand.
Yeah, he didn't say cut everything off of it though, and just made it a stick and
made it 2 inches instead of 4.
You gotta get something that you can get under there. You know, a lot of times too. I mean, that's very important. And a tube, there's nothing skips better than a tube. Absolutely nothing.
I mean, I think we need. And I don't even know. Does Eagle Claw still make an HP?
I don't know. The only place I still buy them.
I used to use those Carolina rigging all the time.
You know, you guys were. I think you were.
Yeah, we were sponsored by them for years.
You guys pushed the HP. Yeah. And what I'm talking about is kind of like a Kale hook, and you know, it was more of an offset Kale style hook, but it had this very unique little clip on the end, and you could just you could clip your tube on it. It was badass.
A tube's a nightmare to fish because it pulls down on your hook real easy because it's hollow in the middle. But the HP had a clip at top of it that you ran it through to Texas rig, and you turned it around, then you hooked that clip, and it held it in place. Yeah. And by doing that, it just made it very efficient on hooking fish. The actual Kale style hook, that's what you use to live bait fish.
Right.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer. If it hooks them on live bait better, it's going to hook them with rubber baits too better.
Do you remember Saturday you said you were trying to find a fishing hat to give away, and you went to the car and got it? You know, you gave that guy or gal a hat.
Yeah.
They were looking for it. So I went to that. I said, I have a box, you know, of old crap that you can give away. And I dug that box down, and the bottom of it were like 10 packs of HP hooks that were 3/0. They were too small. I threw them in there to give away. And that's what made me think about that. I'm like, holy crap, they're right here. So that's kind of.
It's the best way to rig it. I still have a few left that I carry in my boat. A lot of that.
You need some 3/0.
A lot of that's absolutely.
They're not. Mine aren't rusty.
Yeah, mine are. Yeah. You seen all mine that I have left. They got rusty last
I'm gonna use
year.
a big word. I think Dion's boat's a facade. You know what a facade is?
I do.
Yeah.
You ever heard that word? Facade.
Yeah.
Fake. So he's got, you know, Dion, if you've ever seen his boat, he's got rusty crap all over the top of his deck. But he does. It is.
Sound bad.
That little tray is rusty crap. And
well, that's my catch-all.
And Tuesday.
That's your discards.
That's discards, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
can I pick one up and throw it? Yeah, sure.
Would you?
Would I? Absolutely, I do.
You flake off the rust and fling it in there.
I fish. Pat Trainer. Pat Trainer used to be a traveling buddy of ours from down at Table Rock. We went to Thousand Islands for one of the back when they were all invitationals, and he draws Mickey Bruce. Mickey Bruce was like my dad at Thousand Islands. He made the top 10 every time we went, and he came in after the last day. I finished third. Dad finished second. Mickey finished like fourth, and Trainer drawed him the last day. And Pat was very meticulous with his tackle. His tackle box was beautiful. You know, his tackle was beautiful. Everything he did. If it got a chip of paint, he repainted it. I mean, everything was just very immaculate. And Mickey Bruce aggravated him so badly that day. Mickey, because when you're up there around those muskies and stuff like that, they bought a jig, just snap it right off. Mickey would get down, and if there was one laying in the floor of the boat that he cut off 2 days earlier or something, and he'd been walking on it for a couple of days, he would just tie it on. He'd tie it on because it was quick. He'd just get it up, tie it on, put him another piece of pork on there, back when people used pork, tie it on and go right back to fishing. And caught, you know, one of the biggest stringers of the tournament, you know, that day. And so, yeah, my little discard pile, it doesn't bother me to pick that stuff up. That stuff's educated. It's already caught one at some point in time, you know.
There was a guy that came in the store today, and he he took his daughter. I don't know how old she was. I'm assuming by the conversation she was pretty young. Never fished a bass before, and we got talking about fishing. He said he's never missed a show. Listened to every one of them. And he said, I retain everything. He said, I don't know why. He said, but I just retain it all. And he goes, but I got to ask you. He said, since you fished with him, he said, you got to fish with him. I said, I did. It's cool. And he said, what kind of rods and reels does he use? And
Same old same.
do you want me to guess what my answer was?
What?
I do want to guess. You want me to tell you?
No, go ahead.
I said, whatever he picked up. And I said, there was nothing fancy. I said, his crap is as bad as mine. I said, it's.
I use Lou's stuff, and they don't sponsor me.
It's not brand new.
No, by no means. It's most of my stuff's 10 years old or better. Yeah. And I use one rod. It's called a Hibdon's Hammer, and it's 7'3", and it's the best skipping rod I ever used.
And I don't say it disrespectfully by any means. What I'm saying is, guys, you don't have to have 30 freaking rods in your boat. They don't have to be brand new. You just have to have functional crap with good line.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for you.
He does have 30 rods.
I do. I just don't. I just don't use them. Yeah,
they're all tucked away.
But they're not on the deck. I mean,
Kenyon Hill used to say it as well as anybody. Fear the man with two poles laid out.
Yeah,
because that's some bitches on him. He knows what's going on.
And you never had two rods out on Tuesday.
No, it was
the only reason you had two.
Fear the man that has two poles out.
That's right.
And it's the same bait.
And you know what? And I don't know if I told you this or not. He broke off a couple times. And said, "Man, I think his line's no good." And normally, what I'll do is I'll take my rod, throw it in the box. I'll grab another one out, cut my bait off. You know what he does? He opens his lid up. He grabs a spool of line. He wound up some fresh.
Yeah,
kept on going. It took 3 minutes.
I enjoy.
You had a favorite rod?
I do. I've all my reels are the same. All my rods, most of my rods are the same, especially ones that I throw a jig on and sling a jig around on. They're all identical, but still you'll have one or two that just work better. They skip better, they work better. And I believe in that. Once you get used to something, don't be changing, because that just affects your casting. You saw me that day. I got tired. Simple as that. I got tired about 2:00. And you saw how well my casting was at the end of the day. But
guys, let me just say this: how long has it been since you fished a full blown tournament?
It's been all since February.
It's been it's been a while. Yeah, it's been 8 months. And I will tell you this right now: you're 57, right? I'm 50. Yes, I'm 53.
Pups.
I was in the back seat of the boat enjoying myself, but my feet were killing me. My arms were hurting because I'm trying to flip with him, keep up. This guy was like 20-year-old man. He was like a machine. And I said, hey, and I said, you want to let me grab this butt seat and move it up front so you lean against it, because I have to, because I can't do it. This man does not have a butt seat in front of his boat. Stood all damn day, flipping like a machine. So when he said 2:00, I got tired. I was like, holy crap, I was done at 2:00. I didn't want to play anymore. I'm like, I'll sit back here and want to take a nap and eat a cheeseburger. And he's like,
two over 6 and another 5-pounder makes you pretty bulletproof.
And you know what? It even got me motivated, but still didn't mean I wasn't tired. And he said to me, he's like, hey, I'll tell you what, when I'm tired, I will set my ass down. Don't worry. Right. And he kept on going. And I'm like, holy shit. This is.
Well, I really, I have a lot of inspiration to fish.
Yeah, but you say you're tired.
I have
80% of the guys today couldn't do that. You lean on your butt seat, don't you?
No, I don't keep a butt seat at all.
I have a younger.
You swim every day too.
You made that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You made that comment after we weighed in. About, wow, I would like to have seen you when you were in your heyday. Okay, that's Lawson. Lawson is me when I was 28 years old. Okay, only possibly better.
I didn't, and again, I just have to clarify. Didn't mean that disrespectfully, because you outfished any guy I have ever fished with. Saying that you're not in your prime, and I'm just thinking, if in your 20s when you were fishing the classic and really running and gunning, I couldn't even imagine what that would have been like.
Lawson is, the only way he could be more efficient is if he had a reel that could reel itself, and then he would use both hands. Because he can He can skip with either hand. He never gets, you saw me make some really nice casts, and I did, and I work very hard at my casting and stuff, but he can do it with both hands. Right. So there's never an angle, he can be going out fishing out the left hand side of the boat, and another cast come up over here, and he can turn around and make the same little old loop cast that I make with his right hand. Right. And I can. Mine's all lefty. Everything I do is with my left hand.
Are you left-handed?
No, not left-handed.
Okay.
But with a bait caster, everything I do is, it all revolves around my left hand.
Okay.
And he's completely
ambidextrous.
Can do it. Yeah. Like I say, the only way he could be more efficient is if he used 2 rods at a time, and he's like swatting flies on the front of the boat. I mean, he's just going and coming, and every crack that he sees, he makes it slide in there first try. And I got that away for a little while, for a couple of hours that day that we fished together.
Better than that.
I didn't miss many, but you get out of practice.
I hit all the steel and foam around you, so
well,
it was all good.
I didn't make all good casts.
We covered it. No, I said I covered the rest of it.
But I mean, that's.
But you know what? The 4 that counted was worth it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you make bad ones; it's the 4 right ones that makes the difference.
I feel like
your fish come from underneath or the outside?
No, mine came and Dion sabotaged me because he turned off the camera, so I don't have my catch. I don't have my catch on film.
You mean that 1 3/4 pounder?
No, it was. Well, I don't know. It was keeper. It was round 2.
I didn't measure it. We went right straight in the live well.
Box, yeah.
I didn't realize that the camera had to leave the light
just
turned
for the
on.
record, I kept hearing it going off. If anybody's ever had a GoPro, you hear it in the back and it'll go beep 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 and shut off. I'm like, what the hell? So I go turn it on. I realize, the power's off. I went down the console. I turned the power back on, and so I have a YOLO stick.
He's doing this unbeknownst. I had no idea what the hell he was doing.
I just thought the power got timed out.
Right.
But the YOLO stick powers the camera and it sticks into the navigation lights. So I turn on the lights, get power, so the battery never goes dead on the little camera.
Didn't know about those.
Yeah, so I got this really cool
We never
stick.
used those before.
Cool stick.
Yeah.
So mount it in the very back of the boat. It gets the whole boat. So you see both people fishing. And I just turn on the power on the navigation light, and it powers the stick. You stick it in the slot, it powers the camera. Cool. So it never runs dead. So it's cool. Right. But every once in a while we're fishing, and I hear it go beep, 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 shut off. I'm like, damn it. So I go turn the power on. Turn the lights back. Well, we're not communicating versus the camera.
Okay.
So when he would get down to move, he would go, oh, shit, my lights are on.
Lights are on.
So
turn
the lights off. And so when I get back up there, the little battery didn't have charging, and it would go beep, 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 and shut off. So I go up to the bow of the boat. I think you were maybe retying. So I think you broke off or retied or something. I walked to the bow of the boat, and I flipped over a cable to a hunk of concrete that was holding the ramp up. So it was up there in 18 inches of water, but it was a concrete, like a 4x4 pillar thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I threw it up there, and it hit the water and just took off, and I swung on it. And he ran under the cable, and I just trolled. He acted like it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal as most people do. I just trolled over to the cable. He got wrapped up in, when you walk him down the cable, they always hang in there with a clamp around. He got hung in that little V.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Exactly. He got hung up in there, so I went there, popped him out, swung him in the boat. No
you
big deal.
usually lose those.
Right? But it was my day. My one contribution, which put us over the limit.
There you go.
Made us win. But but at getting in a film because he turned off the damn lights. So once we were 3/4 in the day, and he's driving out, he turned it off, and I said, "Hey," and he goes, "Oh hell, that's what you're doing." And so we left it on the rest of the day. Thank God, because I got the big fish caught. So
I saw that film.
So that was cool.
Good.
Got the important ones.
It was cool.
Yeah.
So
and he was really cool having almost a 7-pounder come out of the dock. I thought it was like, might want to get the net.
My favorite part was there was a whole group of guys that were working on a house, and one of the guys goes, "Was it big?" And he was in excitement. He goes, "Yeah, it's effing big." And then I kind of snickered and moved around the corner, and he gets the second one, and he makes this big swing, and Stella says hi, Kevin.
Oh,
so
hey Stella, love
he
you.
goes on the other side, and he catches the second fish, and he hooks it, but he didn't he didn't do the BSS big swing hook set. The first one, man, he was like, ooh,
Yeah.
And then we have conversation because he's way up in there, and he goes, man, if this is a bass, it's a big one. So as a net bitch, you're prepared. You already have the net, you're ready to go. So we net it, we do the fist bump, everything's good. But we're on the other side. He flips in there, and I'm flipping, and I hear him just kind of go, whoosh, and he hooks one, and because I fished with my dad so long that he grunts great big, and he makes his big swing. He's like, it's a big
wait
one.
for the signal.
Yeah, it's like,
so
get the net,
Yeah.
And so I just casually said to him, I'm like, hey, is that a good one? And he's like, yes, it is. I'm like, oh shit. So I grabbed the net, we net him up, and he sits down. I don't think I'll forget this for a long time. He goes, dude, I don't care how many years you've been fishing, when you do something like that, that's special. Yeah. He said, that's really special, and it is.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often enough.
And it just, and I don't want to get like all emotional and stupid or anything, but
Yeah.
But I had this really cool feeling come over me. It's like, here's a guy that's fished all over this planet in multiple countries, and he is still excited to catch big fish. It's a $50 tournament, and he was still like, dude, this is freaking awesome. And I said, I wish we would have fished up for a lot more money. And that's when he said, well, it'd be our payday. And I said, Dave, did you know that there was a $50 side pot, winner take all? And it's like, he went, really?
Are we in it?
We're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go one more spot. And I was hell yeah, we're in it. I'm like, fishing with the world champion. Damn right, I'm throwing in the extra 50. We're good. So it was cool.
No, me and Lawson work very hard at and he puts in a lot of brush and does a lot of extra effort. That I don't do anymore.
Yeah, but his turn.
But like I say, I also really, really enjoy beating him. It's a lot of fun. I mean,
it was kind of major day.
That's right, it did.
Hey,
it
and
did.
Bojangles just said 22nd. He just posted it again, 22nd. Are we going to fish? Are we going to fish again?
Bo keeps talking that 22nd deal. That's the next one.
Yeah, it's October 22nd on Tuesday.
I plan on beating him a lot before then.
Am I going to? Do I get to ride with you again?
Well, absolutely.
All right. I've been trying to find some spots so I can contribute. Like we're even going to go there.
Good
doesn't,
luck.
Doesn't matter. I'd be like, hey, what do you tell a guy? Kevin's like, hey, I've won millions of dollars. I know a spot. He's like, no, we're not going there.
Jamie, his grandpa guided in the gravelway.
Yeah.
His dad guided in the gravelway, and you're going to show him something?
Yeah, exactly.
He might have had some sneaky spot I didn't know about.
I told Laws the other day.
I doubt it.
I said, do you know where we fish? He's like, hell yeah, I know where you fish. He said, my dad's never going to leave that cove. He said, we have a tournament there. I guarantee you he's not going to go out of the mouth of that cove. He's going to stay in the gravelway's arm all day long. Yeah. And I said, why? He said, because he knows every single inch. Every inch. And I said, okay.
Well, when did your grandpa start guiding on the lake?
When it
34?
When it was a river. Yeah, he got
the lake?
Yes, he got
okay.
he was actually a hunting and fishing guide when it was a river.
Okay.
And when the lake got flooded.
Gosh, I hate to put it spot. What was his name?
Guido.
It was Guido also, Guido Senior.
Guido Senior.
Okay.
Which,
and
I didn't know that.
I don't want to sound stupid, but isn't that like Indian for guide? And Guido is.
I don't know.
There's like
Guido's Italian.
Is it Italian?
Yeah, don't ask me.
But isn't there like something that's like, doesn't Guido stand for guide?
I think in the Bible it's, in the disciples and all that, they're, a lot of them were fishermen, and I'm pretty sure one of them was Guido. I don't know.
That was the 14th. They don't bring 14th disciple.
Yeah, they don't bring up all of them in the Bible, so you don't know what all of their names are. But I'm pretty sure one of them had to have been a Guido.
One of the scrolls they didn't print in the Bible.
That's right.
There was the book of Guido,
and he might have been
that lost scroll yet.
He might have been the one that was, causing the most trouble too. So he might have not made the book. But yeah, they
kind of got blackballed like you did in the Bash.
That's right. That's right.
Yep,
they eliminated him out of the Bible like they eliminated me out of the Bash.
Nice. So there was I think there was an old resort that used to be there. It's called Twin Bays.
Two Waters.
Yeah.
Two Waters, and there was one other one.
It was Twin Bays, and it was Two Waters.
Yeah.
Two Waters is where he guided the whole time I was alive.
And your dad did too, correct?
Yeah,
same place or close.
Yes, my dad guided out there the whole time I was alive.
Yep. But you're still alive.
But I mean, when I was young, from the time I was born.
Gotcha.
But they actually guided out of a little resort that was Washburn Point.
Yes.
Which is the
Where's
Washburn. The
that's
Washburn.
That still exists.
It's in Soap. It's on the outside of Soap Creek.
Okay.
One's in Soap Creek. One's on the outside of Soap Creek.
Isn't that where that little building is? Kind of like on the point. It's kind of like a flat building. It's kind of
When you come,
overhangs the water a little bit.
When you come out of Soap Creek and head on up in the Gravois, the next pocket that cuts in on that shoreline, there's some little rock cabins up there on the hillside, and that's where my family grew up.
Nice.
That's where my dad grew up. That's where my uncles and everybody guided out of. And from there to Two Waters Resort is right over the top of the hill.
I got a story you may or may not know. So my dad buys old tackle. He likes buying old antique tackle all the time, and we were he bought a box. We were going through it, and your dad was here, and we were all digging through it, and in the bottom was a matchbook, and in the matchbook it said Joy's Cafe. You ever heard that one?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, son of a bitch," he said, "I used to wash dishes there." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, for a short period of time."
Yeah.
But, yeah, there was a
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm going to say this is, I didn't think your dad ever had a job other than guiding and professional fishing.
He got married at a very young age.
Yeah.
And he moved to Kansas City for 6 months.
I never knew that.
For 6 months, and was a butcher in Kansas City. And he told his wife that was not going to happen the next 6 months, and she had a choice to make, and they got a divorce. And he moved back to the lake and met my mother within weeks of being back at the lake, and he's never done anything but fish.
Never looked back.
Never looked back.
Yep, I think, and we can have another. I mean, we can have a monthly show on Guido in his past. I mean, he did a lot of stuff. You know, we can talk about the markets, Kansas City fish markets. You know, the guys down here used to catch everything they could, and they trap and they hunt, take everything to market, KC. You know, he was one of those guys that made a living doing it.
Yeah.
And that's, and turkey trot lines.
That's right.
Yeah, I heard of those.
We'll talk about. I don't think they ever did it. But
no,
but I've heard about them.
Don't think so.
We can talk about that deer season. It's coming up in November.
That's right.
We'll get
pretty
into
quick.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll move on because we're about ready to call it a show. Kevin's also the president of the Mid Lake Bass Club.
I am.
It's one of the biggest clubs in Central Missouri, and
you're also the vice president.
I wasn't going to go there because I was going to say how you've maintained to keep that position for a couple of years because nobody really likes you, and I don't understand why they keep letting you be the president. So
because they don't want to do it.
Nobody wants to do it. I really love the vice president role because we do absolutely nothing.
I know.
And
no, not we do absolutely nothing.
So who's actually the tournament director?
I'm also tournament director.
Oh,
so
man.
So we have a tournament committee.
I've been the director for about 10 years and the president for 4 years?
Something like that. Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah.
So he does a good job.
That's the only job I never want to have.
A tournament director?
No, never.
It's not that bad.
Too many, too much bitching, whining, sniveling.
And you get that.
Professional bass fishermen are worse than 15-year-old girls.
They're not as bad as crappie fishermen.
I'm going to tell you right now the biggest issue the club has. And if you guys are listening and you're one of these guys, then I'm talking about you. But when you break down before takeoff, and I say when, not if, when you break down before takeoff, Dion, no matter where you fish, what happens? If you break down before takeoff and you can't make takeoff, what happens?
Call the tournament director.
But are you allowed to go ahead and fish later?
Not unless you check out.
That's right.
Yeah, you got to be there.
So,
you have to be
but you can't call the president and
out.
say, "Hey, my batteries are dead. I got charged a little bit, and I'm just going to take off from the dock, and I'll catch up with you guys at weigh-in."
No, we have to check out.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, we have to check out.
We get a lot of that.
Somebody has to inspect our boat.
We have a lot of that. So, guys, we take out the tournament, and we'll move into the shameless plug now. The Mid Lake Bass Club is a private club.
It is.
You have to be referred by another member. If you're a Bassmasters Classic champion or FLW champion, you cannot participate. There's a 2-week waiting period, and you have to be referred by another member. It's $50 to be a part of the club, a $20 renewal.
Correct.
The championship is coming up next week.
And it's a pretty good sized championship.
Yeah.
I've been working on the payout. And,
roughly, what do you think to win?
Oh, well, we're going to pay out $10,000.
$10,000 in total payout. That's pretty good for a club that just holds back 10%. But we average about 50 boats, 40 to 50 boats a tournament. So it's a good time.
It's not the normal club. It's quite a bit bigger. What do we got? 160, 180 in it?
Members? We were pushing 200, and it's kind of we're in that little lull because we started to be a little more strict about who we let in.
Right.
You know,
And mostly because our location can't handle a bigger tournament.
I thought we could be 100.
Not even one
and
more?
then he caught 680s.
Well,
You know.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe we can handicap it.
Would you be interested in that?
We can let you in handicap you.
Depends on what the handicap is. I
Probably
mean,
5 pounds.
Negative 5 pounds.
5 pound handicap. Would you play?
Yeah.
We might take that to the club next year and see if at the annual meeting.
if I had to spot everybody 5 pounds, yeah, I'd do that.
That's fun. I mean, because
that'd be fun to do.
I'd like to see how that works.
I wonder if we could do a side pot and let him fish.
There you go.
It's a separate tournament altogether.
Fish against a world champion.
Yeah, winner take all side pot.
Or first, second, third, whatever, if we got a lot of people.
Look at he's over there going, I don't like you guys at all.
You want to do a $50 side pot?
I thought
now you got to fish by yourself. You can't bring your son.
I thought the 5 pound deduction right off the get go would be good enough. But daggone.
Dude, you told
Well, no, we're talking about not taking a 5 pound deduction, just having you in a side tournament.
Have me in a side tournament all by myself
against everyone that wants to fish against me.
Everybody wants to fish against me.
Yeah, but with that being said,
so I'm going to fish for what? $150?
No, there'd be a lot of people want to beat you.
You know, I think we do a $20 side pot tournament with 50 boats. That's $1,000.
Yeah.
And they always do. They always 95% of them do it.
We have 46 get in. Yeah. So
we'll just incorporate.
Well, you guys think that through before you let
we'll
that
have another
happen.
follow up. Yeah.
Your side pot might go to hell in a handcart.
No,
if I get to be in on it.
You'd be a second side pot.
A second side pot.
We'll call it a side.
Yeah.
The side pot.
The champion side pot.
We'll just, at the annual meeting in January, which you spoke at last year.
Yeah.
You know, let's just
seem like a nice bunch of guys. I don't know about you two.
Well,
but
you
they all seem like nice bunch of guys.
You weren't checking them out very well.
Yeah.
Just like that. You just lost your ticket. See?
Yeah.
That's how
President,
that works.
vice president.
Yeah.
You
Just
just insulted. Now I'm back out.
Yeah. Well, I can say Kevin's a turtle because he is. So,
I'm not saying he is.
Look now, Dunbar's on drugs. Dunbar's on drugs. He's on pain meds, but he's like, no, Kevin does a good job. He's fair and he's reasonable. No, he's not.
He's probably still hooked up to drugs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hopefully. He was in a lot of pain.
So, Mr. Pharmacist, what is Mark on?
Let's
play this game.
He's probably on.
He's on
Demerol or hydromorphone.
Yep, hydrocodone.
No, hydromorphone.
Morphone.
Better.
Hydromorphone's better.
Yeah.
No.
Dilaudid.
You might put it in there.
You on Dilaudid?
What's your medication of choice there, Dion?
Me,
no, you're drug free.
I'm pretty well. Oh no, you kidding me? My drug free? Come on.
Legal drugs, that is.
57 years old and on dialysis. Yeah, I'm totally drug free. Yeah.
Oh, Mark says straight up morphine. See, poof.
Oh,
he's on the morph.
That's good.
IV or pill or
probably on a pump, a little drip.
Man, he's hurt if he's still on morphine.
Yeah,
he's probably seen Jesus a few times this week. So I don't know.
Especially when they try to move him.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it on the club. If you want any information on that, you can give us a holler here at the store or IV. He's still hooked up to he's still hooked up on the pipe.
I wasn't sure he's still in the hospital, but apparently he is.
He might be home. I don't know.
No,
poor guy.
He's not.
Damn.
Yeah.
Whew. You know, I mean, he's like, we're going to be able to pick on him for like a year at least.
Oh, hopefully.
Oral Mark gives you a break, Dion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
no kidding.
And he just retired like a year and a half ago, and then this happened.
Yep. So if anybody wants to be a part of the club, you can go online to midlakebassclub.com.
Right.
I think it's mid-lake.
Yeah, just put Mid-Lake. It'll show up.
You pull it up. The contact information's on there. We do a background check, make sure you don't want too much money. It's a really cool layback. He says, "Bring it." It's a really cool layback club, and you're more than welcome to be a part of it. We do one annual meeting a year. It's right here at the shop.
Right. Now,
just some great giveaways, good time. We have world champion fishermen that come and talk.
Right.
It's nice. Sometimes he's nice.
It is a little different club,
year.
though.
Oh, yes, you are.
Because it's a buddy club. So,
it is a buddy club.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a buddy club. But yeah, we'll negotiate. It's all good. Relax. It's all good. What do you got, D? Got a shameless plug?
Nope. Did you get Lloyd?
Not yet. I'll get
Lloyd
there.
and Hiawassee Beach?
Lloyd's not a shameless plug. Lloyd's our one and only sponsor.
No,
He's
I'm-
just a plug.
Yep. Now,
Okay.
Lloyd did say we met this afternoon because we have corporate meetings you don't get to be on.
That I missed.
So yeah, we have the shareholders
I
meeting.
wasn't even invited.
And at the shareholders meeting today, Lloyd said, "Hey, I want you to start spending that money. I want you to start buying some baits and giving them away." And I said, "Okay, I can do that." So what we'll do starting next week, because I wasn't ready because that was today. We'll get some prize packages together. We'll do some promotions, and we're going to give some stuff away. So stay tuned.
He's going to the back room.
Yeah.
No, we'll get some good stuff. We'll
You
get
guys
some
gonna
good
get
stuff.
some of them good tubes
Yeah.
next week.
We're in negotiations right
Yeah,
now.
they may
with
win money though.
Yep,
That's
we
right.
are in
So-
negotiations with the soft plastic company being a sponsor of the store. So, and if Bo doesn't get off his ass and sign up with us, we'll get that going. So, and he said we'd work together on that. So we'll get some stuff going on. We'll do some videos. We'll have some contests, and we'll give some stuff away. It'll be a good time. You have a shameless plug you want to talk about other than your hip pocket? Who pays your bills? Leslie? Leslie take care of your finances
no,
on the fishing?
I pretty much pay mine, but I
Right.
want to give a shout out to Dupo Marine in Dupo, Illinois. They got my last bass boat, and they were real easy to work with. So
They gave you a deal.
they did give me a deal, but they sell a lot of bass boats, Skeeter, Bass Cat, and Falcon. So there you
Right
go.
on. And you're a Skeeter guy.
I'm a Skeeter.
And I will say, I
Used to be a Ranger guy.
yeah, I mean a lot, all of us are Ranger guys at some point.
Yes.
That's good. I will say, not this boat, but the previous boat we had. I took a ride in it. Was that the one we did camera boat work in? Or was it the year before that?
Cameron
Kevin buys new
was
boats
a
every 8 months.
Ranger.
He's
and-
rich.
No, we took a Skeeter out on the Bash a few years ago.
Yeah, it was a great ride little boat.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
Mhm.
Funny story. He bought a black and gold boat. It was black and yellow, and the Skeeter splashed yellow, and they rigged it with 10-foot bright yellow power poles.
Yeah.
And dude, if you want to know where Kevin was fishing, you can see him from like 2
Uh-huh.
miles away. It was awesome. And I gave him so much crap about it, and apparently everyone else did too.
A lot of people said, I
It was
saw
like-
you there.
Yeah, like 3 months later, he went and got them wrapped. He got his power poles wrapped. And if you think about that, it had to be expensive because all those holes, they were all cut out and filled in so
The
you could
best
see the yellow.
$200 I ever
It
spent.
was funny as hell. Yeah, it was funny as hell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah. Too many people said, I saw you in this cove, that cove. So, yeah. That had
Let's
to
see.
change.
I'm gonna, and I'm not sponsored by them, but I wanna give a shout out to Stick at Baitworks. I've been using the jigs that he makes, and I've had really good success. They're great baits. Baitworks is still one of those companies that's being a good contributor to the sport of fishing. I always see their names at the Big Bass Bash and some of the smaller tournaments. They're doing their best to stay involved out there and keeping guys fishing. And the Hibdons have a jig there called the Hammer Jig. I need to order them because we sold
out.
damn near everything at the bash.
Yeah.
So the guys are confident in them, and it's all about having confidence in the bait. And like I said, I'm not sponsored by them. We sell them. Stick does us good, and all the guys at Baitworks, it's a good company. And even though they sell online, and we're a tackle store too, don't care. Go online to baitworks.com and get all the most innovative, newest tackle out there. And we want to thank him for everything he does for the show and for the store and for the Hibdons. And
They got a nice tackle store. It's,
yeah, that's all.
I mean,
cool.
they got a lot of stuff that most people don't even search for.
Yeah.
But they got all the new stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's in Springfield,
Springfield.
Missouri. I think it's. Yep. Let's see here. Close out tonight. Let's see here.
Give us who's the coach?
My quote tonight is
Baitworks,
from
yes.
the world famous Ray Wilson Scott Jr. Did you know his middle name was Wilson?
I did
It
not.
says right here in the book, Ray Wilson Scott Jr. Born in 1933, Ray Scott was the founder of BSS.
BAS.
What I said?
BSS.
BSS, the Bullshit Society. No, the Bass Angler Sportsman Society of America. Very short, but I thought it was pretty good. Ray Scott said, "Sharp hooks and strong line land more fish." That was his quote.
There you go.
And I thought about that, and it's like, there's not much more else you can say.
That's right.
Most of these, I went through the book and read it today. Most of them are all about confidence, and you talk about that a lot.
Sure.
Most of these anglers in the book talk about how confidence is more important than anything else that you can do. You might pick the wrong spot, but if you have the confidence to work it through, you're going to catch a fish. You're going to catch fish as long as you stay confident, right?
Right.
And if not, then don't buy a boat, don't buy a truck to tow it with. Don't buy the tactical fish with. If you don't have confidence to go out and do your thing. A Dion quote that I'm going to steal. When I was fishing the Strins or the Toyotas, they were the Everstarts back in the day. He said, "Remember this." He said, "It's important." He said, "The bass is green. He swims sideways. He makes babies, and he does the same thing in California as he does in New York." He said, "You go out and do what you do to catch fish." And he said, "Don't listen to what everybody else is doing. You do what you do, and you will be fine." Right?
Absolutely.
You still believe that?
Absolutely.
All right. So with that being said, guys, we really appreciate you watching. Tune in the same time next Wednesday at 6 p.m. We'll talk a little more fishing here on Real Unfiltered Talk. I want to thank everybody. Thanks, Kevin, for coming in.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys all next week. Appreciate it. And like that, we're done.